City of Forest Park, City Council meeting number 1395. Today is May 2nd. Let us start by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Adams. Brown.
Here.
Clark. Here. Harrison.
Here.
Holt. Here. Moore. Here. Sylvester.
Here. I need a motion to excuse Councilmember Adams.
A motion to excuse Councilmember Adams.
It's been moved and properly seconded. This could be a voice vote, correct?
Yes.
All those in favor, let it be known by the sound of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, moving on, we are going to go to the second item on the agenda, which is the adoption of minutes. Has everyone received the minutes? Are there any changes or corrections to be made? Hearing none, we're going to move on to presentations, and there are none today. And then we're just going to move on to item number 4, which is communications from the public. So this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription, and then comments are limited to 5 minutes. So if,
Excuse me,
yes.
you didn't make a motion. Is the law director going to be here tonight?
He is not.
Well, excuse me. Before we move on to communications with the public, I need another motion to excuse our law director, John Wyckoff.
A motion to excuse our law director, John Wyckoff.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All right, all those in favor, let it be known by the sound of voting aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Denise. All right, now we can just move on to communications from the public. If you would go, sign in, state your name, address, and everything that's important to you.
Okay. Well, my name is Hugh McCullough. I reside at 885 Waycross Road, and I'm here this evening as a representative of the Forest Park Historical Society. Normally, Brandon Weirs would do this moment in history, but Brandon's unable to be here tonight, so I'm filling in for him. And Brandon has provided his speech, which y'all have a copy of, so I'll try to make this fairly brief and go from it. The council members were all invited to our meeting of the 12th of April to hear what was going on at the Historic Society. And basically, the city manager had voiced his idea of rebranding Forest Park in an earlier meeting. And we had talked about it in our meeting that, we've got a branding that originally came from the Quality of Life Task Force many years back. And there were 6 items that Brandon came up with that were building blocks for the community. And we felt that the rebranding was just a natural progression from the Quality of Life Task Force. So he put together an information session for our meeting, inviting the available members of the original task force to join us for a reunion. And we had a very nice meeting. We had 12 members of the Historic Society, plus the members of the task force, a couple of guests, and did a presentation. Unfortunately, none of the council members was able to attend that evening, but you're welcome to attend anytime we meet. The mayor had talked with Brandon about following up with the rebranding, and we felt that from the Historic Society, we can feed whatever information we've got to the council for council's consideration to rebranding or updating the branding. So that's what it was all about. And Brandon and Mr. Henderson, who was part of the committee, are open to discussions of anything that they had to do with originally. So that's about all I've got, but you've got a copy of Brandon's full write-up here. and a picture of those members that were there, a graph that kind of indicates what the feelings amongst white community members were back in those days of the early days, where that there was a feeling that the quality of life in the community would go down if black people moved to the community, and that was totally wrong. We found it to be wrong because as the black people moved into the community, the quality of life was stable, and in fact, and sometimes grew. So that's what our community is all about. We're here to support you, and we'd like to support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other members of the public want to speak or have anything to say? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to item number 5, which is reports from council members. So we're going to start with Councilmember Clark.
I have no report other than to make sure that, voting is tomorrow. We've got some things that pertain to our great city.
Okay. And do you have any items to add to the work session?
Some of our beautification in some of our businesses, if you want to call it that, or their appearance.
So, like a discussion item about,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a couple of things I want to share.
okay. All right, moving on, we're going to go to Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I begin, I'd just like to recognize that May is recognized as Asian American and Pacific Islander Month. So to those members of those communities who reside in Forest Park, wish you a happy month. Also, too, like to mention that last week, the city of Cincinnati Forest Park lost a member, local businessman, many years ago, Mr. John Stofa. If you may or not know, he was the first member drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in 1968, and he lived here in Forest Park and used to own a restaurant across the street where the dialysis clinic now sits, called Scoreboard. So, little Forest Park history there, and then also to our heart and condolences go out to the Winton Woods football team, loss of Coach Hill, who passed away unexpectedly last week. And I'd like to, to bring to the next working group meeting, I would like to revisit the community garden idea that one of our residents brought a few months ago, and just see if we can just get that on the docket and see if we can push that forward. And that is all I have. Thank you.
So you said you want to get that added to the work session?
Yes, sir.
Moving on, First Vice Mayor Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, and I have nothing to add.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Second Vice Mayor Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To our residents, our surrounding communities, on Wednesday, May 4th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Forest Park Community Improvement Session for our Next Generation Library will take place. That's 655 Waycross Road, and that's Forest Park, 45240. And as part of our facility master plan implementation, library leadership and representatives from the SHP architects will be on hand to seek feedback from the community to prioritize the resources and services that will go into our new branch. So we welcome everyone to come out. Your voice does matter, and so we're so excited for our Next Generation Library, and so we're looking for some great ideas, and so we'll see you there.
When is this?
It is Wednesday the 4th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Forest Park Library. And that completes my report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Moore. I don't have any work session agenda items. Would you like to add any?
No, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to Councilmember Sylvester.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to ask Councilwoman Moore, are there more than the one date for Wednesday? Will it be?
Well, there's going to be another one, but this one is just looking at the architectural structure and feedback on what the residents' resources they want.
Okay, just for this, yeah, that's coming Wednesday. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. But I do not have any report to give at this time.
Okay.
I know we spoke the last time about getting some follow-up information about the properties of Aldi, Walmart.
Right.
We didn't have any significance of feedback, but maybe we can just have those as tailored items that to say, hey, you know, how often do we follow up on those? Would that be like just have it in a position where it'd be a constant follow-up, or to find out how that communication would be constant until we get something that's significant to residents and for us to understand what's going to be happening.
Absolutely. I think that's a good idea, so I'll just go ahead and add that as a discussion item. Thank you, council member. And that concludes item number 5, our reports from council members. Moving on to item number 6, this is the mayor's report, and I just have a really brief report. I recently had a meeting with the superintendent of Winton Woods School District, and they wanted to share with the city the game-winning football from last year's state championship, our Division II win with our Winton Woods Warriors. So this is just to all of our council as a way to commemorate not only this momentous occasion. This is incredible that the students did this, but as a way to show our wonderful relationship that the city has with the school district. So superintendent came down personally and handed me this game ball, and I mean it's just a really good way to commemorate our relationship between the two entities. Also, June 11th is the date for the Forest Park's new event, the Citywide Cycle and Family Fun Day. So the city of Forest Park is going to be having, similar to last year, we're going to have a brief, it's a family fun day that's going to start in Central Park. Members are going to ride a bike around on a designated course and start in the park and end in the park. So there'll be food and there'll be games and, family fun activities. It's not a race, but it was a success last year, so we're trying to get the word out a lot earlier this year because a lot of residents wanted to hear about it. All of council actually attended. It was a very fun event. So the date is going to be for June 11th, and we'll have more information on that as that gets closer. And that concludes the mayor's report. The only thing that I want to add to the work session is I want to continue our discussion on the decriminalization ordinance. So I will add that to the work session for next week. And like I said, that concludes my report. Moving on to item number 7, the city manager's report, and filling in for our city manager, Don Jones, is our assistant city manager, Andy Lewandowski. Correct.
Excuse me, can I just say something about the cycling? I hope that we would get the flyers out much sooner than we did last year, because most of the flyers stayed on the table.
Actually,
And
we do have the next meeting coming up is, I want to say, next week because we were in partnership with We Thrive. So Jermaine said our meeting is coming up soon, and that is the top thing on the agenda, making sure the flyers get out as early as possible. And to knock doors, a lot more doors, not just post the flyers, but knock doors so residents are aware that the event is going to take place.
okay, great. There were a lot of people that didn't know about
That's
it
right.
until after it happened.
100% right.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, and just to be sensitive to some of our residents, maybe would it be possible to put like the flyers in some other language other than English?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so last year we were trying to get the flyers in Spanish and then Nepalese.
Okay.
But so the flyer discussion is top of the agenda.
Okay.
Because we want to get it out early,
Yeah.
and we want to get it to all of our residents who there might be a language barrier, because like I said, it's not a race or anything.
Right.
It's just a family fun, friendly event to get people out, get active, be healthy, and into our beautiful parks.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Sorry, Andy.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. My report, so in front of everybody, you have a property maintenance report we got from our Community Development Director, Chris Anderson. I've not had a lot of time to digest it, so I'd suggest maybe just take it home, look over it, and we'll go from there. And if that's something you guys want to discuss at the work session, you could. Otherwise, it's just informational. We also, this Saturday, we have the Citywide yard sale. We have about 80 households registered. It's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So the weather so far is looking pretty good. So hopefully that'll be a good event. We just had the drug take back this past Saturday. We received 17 pounds of pills that are going to the DEA to be destroyed, so that was successful. The Assistant Fire Chief, Jermaine Hill, and Community Health Educator Kim Chelf attended a course on senior stepping and fall prevention. That was about a 3 or 4 day course they attended last year, and they plan to help seniors in our community to continue to stay on their feet. So that's a plan they have in place. So there'll be more details to come on that. Public Works related, we have a bid opening for our street program. We have four streets on the list. I think the bid opening is either tomorrow, sometime this week. If you need another roads, it's Harkin Drive east and west, Bessinger Drive from Kelvey, Waycross Road from Bruner, and then Lincolnshire Drive from Kingsbury. So those are now. Hopefully we can do all four. Prices have gone way up, so it all depends on how these bids come in. It's been kind of crazy. And then we also have a pre-construction meeting for the Winton and Kemper, the SORTA grant this week. So that's moving on. That should be done later. And it's also Chipper Week. So just so everybody knows, we're down to 1 week a month on the Chipper. So, and then for work session, we are going to have hopefully ordinances for the CRA, the TIF. We're working on another one for a rec and amusement ordinance. This kind of came about recently on an event over in the Walmart parking lot or the Mexican restaurant. We're just trying to add details that give us a little more preparation for these types of events so we understand fully what's going on. So, and and there's one more ordinance we're working on. It's a moratorium on vape and tobacco stores. So we're trying to work with the law director on that as well.
Okay.
So what about special session exception? Is that not on the radar?
Special
Exceptions?
for,
No, for anything, because there are too many special exceptions.
No, for things that are not compliant with the zoning.
that I'm not sure.
Because that was one of the things that I brought up the last time that was supposed to be discussed about there are entirely too many special exceptions.
Right, and I think that, that should be a discussion item as well in the work session.
All right, I'll add that as a work session item. Really quick, Andy, this is a part of, for the bid opening up on the street improvements, this is continuing from our improvement program that's ongoing right now. Right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so, and residents can expect to see improvements starting and ending before the summer is over on their street, on our crumbling streets?
Yes,
Okay.
on those that we have listed, should be done by, I would think, September, so,
You said finished by September?
yeah,
Okay.
I believe that's the timeline.
Okay,
Now, the Kemper, the Winton to Kemper, the SORTA, it's a lot bigger project, so I'm not exactly sure when that'll be finished, but,
right.
but it may be a little bit later.
All right, Councilmember Clark.
Yeah, I have a question, and I'm not sure to what extent you know about this, but 541 calls for service in 1 month for our business community, for business checks. Is there some unpacking you can do for that on me? That seems really high.
Okay, I will ask you, I have no idea.
All right.
Where's
All right, does anyone have any other questions for our Assistant City Manager? All right, hearing none, thank you for that, Andy. Moving on to item number 8, other reports. Since our law director is not here, we're going to start with Ms. Sally Boyd, our Clerk of Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance number 06-2022 through 14-2022 and resolution numbers 10-2022 and 11-2022 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Sally. All right, moving on to item number 9, which is new business, and today we actually do not have any new business. So that is the first time in a while, but we do have a number of ordinances coming, and we have, looks like now, a full slate for work session items that we will be discussing. At this point, we can move to adjournment, but is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business? I'm sorry. A food pop-up? Produce pop-up, okay, yeah.
Pop up a produce
At which church? Oh, this Thursday, okay.
Forest Chapel, is that Forest Chapel on Sharon?
Okay, Thursday, Forest Chapel on Sharon, and what time is that?
It's at
4:30
night
to
now.
6:30? Okay, okay.
It's in the evening now.
Isn't it? Okay, 4:30 to 6:30, yeah. So our produce pop-up, that started during COVID, correct, or was that before? Okay, okay, yeah, and that's ongoing program. Oh, yeah, so if you want to address council?
I just wanted to speak to all the council. I neglected one thing.
Yeah, if you can go to the mic, please. Thank you, Mr. McCullough.
I missed one item on Brandon's write-up here. Everybody on council is invited to our next meeting of the Senior Center, or Senior Forest Park Historical Society, and we'll do a presentation there about the 1971 Inner Circle Homerama. It was the second Homerama held here in Forest Park, and it's a PowerPoint presentation that will identify the 10 homes and the people that bought them and the history of those homes a bit. So you're all invited to attend that meeting. That's on May 10th, 4 p.m. in the Senior Center. Thank you.
4 p.m. May 10th,
Yes.
4 p.m. at the Senior Center. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. So that's all the updates, but is there any other business to come before the body?
Yes,
Councilmember
would
Sylvester?
you follow up on the last motion for the general fund summary that wasn't received from the last council meeting?
Which motion in particular was that?
That was on our April 8th. I don't think that we received.
On the
Mr.
April-
Mayor, that was taken off the agenda last Monday, and it will actually be placed on the next agenda.
Okay. Which motion was that again?
General
About the
fund
general fund.
summary
I'm sorry. Okay, general fund. Okay. All righty then. All right. Thank you for that, Councilmember Sylvester. Thanks, Sally. All right. Is there any other business to come before the body? Is there any other business to come before the body? And is there any other business to come before the body? Hearing none, council meeting is adjourned.